Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hearthstone Ladder Climb. My name is Ikkaris, this is Ikkaris Gaming, and today is episode 19 of our series where we're taking a look at my Hearthstone gameplay as I try to climb all the way to Legend. Now today we're staying on our little detour onto our Quest Hunter deck. We're being a little cheeky with it, and today we are matched up against a Shaman. I'll just go ahead and say, spoiler alert, this is an even Shaman. Not that it's really much of a spoiler. It goes ahead and shows you at the start of the game. You can see right here, again, pops up, boom, shows you that the hero power is only 1. And so we have a great hand here that we can work with. Quest on turn 1, we've got the Firefly on turn 2 that also, of course, gives you the Flame Elemental, a second 1-drop, so we can maximize kind of utility on turn 2. We've got the Elven Archer if we need it. We've got Keleseth, kind of an emergency. You can use Keleseth in this deck against maybe like an aggro opponent because you really don't run that many minions, or you don't run very many minions that are great on their own. There's a lot of stuff that works great in combination, like the Tundra Rhino, Houndmaster Shaw, things like that. I can speak of the devil, there's the Tundra Rhino. So we've got the Merkspark Eel comes out, gets rid of our first one. Now that's one of the most common cards, of course, in the even Shaman deck. Kind of one of the staples. And we're kind of thinking here, you know, do we want to play Keleseth? Do we play tracking? We go ahead and do tracking, and I think we end up going with the Ravencaller. You know, it's unfortunate, just as a general rule for me, I'm not a big fan of tracking. I know there's a lot of Hunter decks that include it. It's just, I'm always uncomfortable getting rid of cards. Discarding 2 cards, especially in a class like Hunter where you just don't have any card draw, doesn't sit that well with me. I've been kind of thinking about for my Death Rattle Hunter, you know, getting rid of tracking and putting some other stuff in there, but that'll be for another video. Of course, now we get our 1-drops. We get fairly lucky here with Chameleos as our 1-drop, which is great. And then we get the other card. I don't know the name of that one, the little Rat Rider. And we're kind of looking in a bad spot here. Out comes the Flame Tongue Totem, buffing the adjacent minions, and this is kind of what you don't want to see against if you're up against even Shaman. This board can get very wide very quickly, and then it can also go very deep. You know, you can really run into. It's got some big minions. It's got the Fire Elemental that does 3 damage right off the bat. Now they can't play that on the next turn. It would be on turn 6, but it's always a concern. We go ahead and use the Glacial Shard, freeze up the Vicious Scalehide, and Chameleos ends up paying off because one of the most important cards in this deck is that Flame Tongue Totem that gives, you know, 2 attack to all the adjacent minions. So this is, you know, we're in a lot better shape. We just took a ton of damage off the board. He only has 1 damage on the board that he can use right now. Of course, Cryostasis coming out. This is a little bit of an odd, like a kind of a strange even Shaman deck list. Now a lot of them do run Vicious Scalehide, but there's no deck list that I've seen or that I've played myself that include Cryostasis. It's kind of an odd pick. Of course, that sets up the big buffed Vicious Scalehide, which is a bit of a problem. And so we're thinking Deathstalker Rexxar right now to clear a bunch of stuff off the board. Unfortunately, it's going to leave that Flame Tongue Totem up there, but it does erase most of the other minions. Now, unfortunately, we're dealing with a 6/3. And we're going to have to find a way to deal with it here in the next coming turns. And we're in a bit of a tight spot because we don't have any 1-drops in our hand. You know, there's always the chance that we can, if we get Tol'vir Warden on this next turn, that, you know, draws us 2 1-drops, puts a 3/5 on the board, so we're in better shape. And then, of course, the Earth and Might comes out. And now this is what you can run up against even Shaman. This is not great. We've got 2 big minions. We've got a minion that buffs, and you know we're not in the best shape. But we do get another Glacial Shard, and this is why Tol'vir Warden can be very important. Go ahead and use that to freeze the Menacing Nimbus, use the 1 extra damage on the Flame Tongue Totem, take some extra damage off the board, and that completes our quest. And so now we've gone from in pretty dire straits with 1 card, with the Tol'vir Warden, to now we're in pretty good shape. We have the good old wombo combo of Karnasa Keleseth that we can use to go and buff our entire deck of Raptors. Now, one of the drawbacks of this deck is that there's no guarantee that you're always going to draw one of the Raptors, even though there are 15 of them. You know, you've got a darn good shot at getting one on any given draw, but you never know. This deck can run out of gas, and it has happened in other times that I've played it. But you know, we'll see if that happens today. So we go ahead and play Karnasa. We don't go for the Keleseth play because we need to take damage off the board right now. You know, we need to get that Vicious Scalehide off there. We're not too concerned about the extra lifesteal. He's already kind of at full health with armor anyway. We just need to get damage off the board. And so next turn, we're definitely going to be thinking use Karnasa to get rid of the Menacing Nimbus, although he goes and hexes it. Again, that's okay. Karnasa isn't really the win condition for this deck. You know, you kind of expect that your opponent is going to deal with it some way, you know, immediately. So you know, we're not too focused on Karnasa herself. We're more worried about making sure that we get enough Raptors on the board to just overwhelm our opponent at this point.
I'll give it a shot.
So we go ahead and trade the Elven Archer into the Sandbinder, use that for the Wing Blast to get rid of the Menacing Nimbus, and then we go ahead and play the Gluttonous Ooze because even Shaman doesn't run any weapons. At least none, you know, no regular deck list does. So we're not too concerned. We just need to have a presence on the board to be able to trade into minions. And so this is what I was talking about, how this deck is extremely flexible, where it can go very wide and very deep at the same time. Where we've got the Fire Elemental that gets rid of our extra minions. But we also have our Zombeast that goes ahead and destroys one of our opponent's minions for us. Boom, there goes the totem. And it's also got Poisonous and Divine Shield. So, you know, we're in decent shape, but we do very much need to start drawing our Raptors here, because that's our win condition for this game, is to just load the board with Raptors, because even Shaman doesn't have a lot of board removal, save for Hagatha the Witch, which of course deals 3 damage to every minion on the board as the battle cry. So that's something that we're going to have to think about playing around, because all of our Raptors are going to be 4/3. They're going to fall directly into that path of Hagatha. So we don't want to overextend. Goes ahead and plays Grumble. That was actually, it must have been from the. I would guess that was. Wasn't paying attention to the text underneath, but I would guess that was from playing the Menacing Nimbus earlier in the game, because usually, you know, the only decks that run Grumble is like Shutterwalk Shaman or something like that, and obviously that's not what we're up against. But this is what you want. This is the ideal scenario here. We're in pretty good shape, and you can see this is the strength of this deck, is that you can just get a billion Raptors immediately. And of course, with Charge, we can deal now 8 damage straight to the face. And so we go ahead and use the hero power instead of playing our other Karnasa's Brood, because we're concerned about Hagatha the Witch at this point. You know, if Hagatha comes down, that takes 12 damage off the board for us and almost kills our Tundra Rhino, you know, which is a big part of our win condition. It's unlikely that, you know, with there being so many Raptors in the deck, it's going to be tough to draw any specific card. You know, if you need a card, you can't really count on it anymore, because there are so many Raptors in there that you're more likely to get a Raptor instead. And if it can't attack right away, they're you know, a little easier to deal with, which is again a reason why we run Shaw, Houndmaster Shaw in this deck, just to give you know, some extra gas. So we go ahead and use the Tundra Rhino, get rid of the taunt minion. we're kind of thinking here, you know, what do we want to do? We play the extra Carnassus Brood in the hope that we can pull another one, which we do. We've also, as a backup plan, we've got tracking as well. So if we run out of gas here with these Carnassus Brood, like you can see there with the Tol'vir Warden, although with the Tol'vir Warden, we can go ahead and play that. We can always play that and pull you know, a raptor with that anyway, and kind of put some more gas on the fire. Go ahead and play the tracking. Pull the Carnassus Brood because, you know, again, we want to keep this momentum going. It's unfortunate that our Arthas doesn't quite trade in, but, you know, we use the Raptors. We've got a ton of them, so we're not too worried. And we have the Stonetusk Boar just for good measure, buffed, of course, up to 2/2. And that's all we can do on this turn. So next turn, we're definitely thinking if we don't pull a Raptor off the top, we can play Tol'vir Warden to, you know, kind of guarantee, not quite guarantee, because there, you know, this deck does run a lot of 1-drops. It might pull, you know, a Firefly or a Glacial Shard or the other Elven Archer, but it's pretty good odds that we're going to pull Carnassus Brood and just keep this train rolling. And so we've got the, you know, the Death and Decay, the Death Knight card from Arthas. It doesn't really do us much good here, but, you know, we'll go ahead and play it just to be able to clear the board out. You know, ideally, that card is always great when you have, you know, a bunch of little minions on the other side of the board. But Tol'vir Warden, like we thought, does pull us more Raptors, and we now have an extra combo. Although at this point it's just GG, because we can just go ahead and play the final Raptor, 4 damage straight to the face, and that is again, you know, another way that this deck, that's how this deck is supposed to go. Unlike the last video, you can get, you know, all your Raptors out with Shaw. You can give them rush, clear whatever's on the board. Even better if you can get the Tundra Rhino out and just go straight to face. So it's, you know, it's been a lot of fun playing with that deck, kind of screwing around with it. But I think, you know, for the next video, we're going to be on to another type of deck, and it's actually with the deck that our opponent was running, which is even Shaman. So that's all we have for today. And again, like I said in the last video, guys, if you like the videos, if you have feedback, if you want to interact, if you have questions, whatever, go ahead and, you know, don't be shy. Hit me up in the comments. I'm always looking forward to seeing what anybody has to say, and see if we can grow this thing a little bit. So, all right, thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.